Okay, so what would be the next step?
The next step would be a contouring, which I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit, and I really like it. It's light to medium color, I believe, and yes, light to medium, and it's really popular right now. And a lot of people who I teach, they actually ask a lot about it and be like, okay, how do I apply it? Where do I apply it?
Why do you use it, first of all?
You use contouring to hide imperfections, to actually not even hide imperfection. You need to shape your face in general, because everyone's face is different shape: heart, square, triangle, etc., round, and the ideal shape would be oval. So you're always trying to make oval from whatever you have from your face. So that's why you use a contour to do a little bit. So we would use the contour over here to pronounce our cheekbones. We would use a little bit here on the jawline, just to enhance the look of the jawline. Here you have more of a square face, I would say. So we would use a little bit over here on the top.
To round it up, right?
To round it up a little bit. Plus, if you could use, how do you call it? You could use definitely a bronzer, a matte bronzer, with the same idea. So you don't need to buy like a whole kit, whole palette of different colors for contouring, because how much you would use it for personal use. So you can always improvise with different products. Just because I already applied the powder, so her finish right now is powder. We need to use only powder products on top of it. So creams to cream, powders to powder. If you have a cream blush or a cream contour kit or contour colors, you would use it straight on your foundation. You would not use it after the powder. And a lot of people trying to put it on top, and they don't understand why it doesn't work, because it doesn't really work. So we're gonna use a little bit on the nose, just a tiny bit, just to create that little shadow. And if you use a bronzer, you would use it a little bit all over your forehead, just a tiny bit, where the sun touches your forehead. That would be a little trick. And I would just mix it a bit. Pick a brush. All right, and now we're gonna do eyes. So for eyes, we're gonna do something. All your base needs to be matte. So matte colors for eyes is a must. And then you would add your glitter, shimmers, and all that crazy stuff you want. So I'm gonna use Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is modern renaissance, which is really popular, and it's worth every penny for every girl out there. It's so many colors. So close your eyes. As we have already base on the eyelid, we're just gonna use a lighter color just all over to set that. To set all primer, concealer, or anything like that, so it would actually stay. And you always build from the lighter color to a dark color. Always. Because it's always easier to build than to wipe off. So you kind of think about that. So we did that, and now I'm just gonna use a little bit of taupe color. Gonna use a tiny bit, just because we don't want to go too crazy. It's a day look. It's nothing too glamorous, nothing too, you have your stuff to do during the day. You can have like evening makeup in the day. Any questions?
I don't see. How many brushes do you use, like for the eyes?
I would suggest at least 2-3 brushes for eyes would be amazing for personal use. You would need something. I would highly suggest to have something to pick up product with, and something to blend the product with. And about the brushes, I would highly suggest you to use from the not too expensive brands, it would be Sephora, but the quality is really good. I have this brush for like 7 years, and it's Sephora, and it's still not even like wiped. The name is still there, everything is there, and it's really good brand, but not too expensive, which is still good for everyone to use.
So when you're saying 3 brushes, so 2 brushes to pick up lighter color and darker color?
No, you could pick, you would still start with the lighter color. So your brush is not too dirty to go and dip it in a dark color. You're okay to use the same brush for light and dark, but just gradually from light to dark. 2 brushes would be okay. So I would say the must-haves would be a blending brush, which is like a little fluffy brush that you would use to blend the color on your eyelid. Then would be a dome brush. It's a little smaller than that, and you would use that in the corner and at the bottom, because you would always wanted to use that on the bottom as well. And another one would be something more flat, because sometimes you have those products that like a sparkles or anything, so it's like a little bit more flat like this. So you would, it's like a little spatula or something, you would just kind of dip a little bit in shimmers and then just kind of blend it and just stick it to your eyelids. So we're just gonna continue. I'm just gonna use a little bit of.
So altogether, for the whole makeup, how many brushes would you say you should have?
Well, at least 2 for a face. Well, 3 for face. 1 for foundation, unless you apply your foundation yourself by your hands, then you would just need to use your beauty blender or any blender, because you need to blend the strokes, because you would see prints all over your face, that's for sure. And so 3 brushes ideally for face, for foundation, for blush and contouring. You can use the same brush, and 1 for powder would be like a bigger brush, and you could use for powder, and you could use it for how do you call it, for bronzer. It's a bigger brush. Then you would need 1 for brows. It's usually angle brush. And then you would need 2-3 brushes for your eyes. And for lips, if you have just a lipstick or lip gloss, you don't need anything. So, and 1 for eyeliner if you use eyeliner. But it's a lot of good eyeliners out there.
But you don't need the
you don't need the brush. You don't need brush for them yet.
Can you, after you are done with the eyes, can you show the brushes for the face?
Yes.
I know you've used them, but at least just to show.
Alright, so I'm just going to apply a little bit of shimmer in the middle to just brighten the look. It's nothing crazy, just a little bit of champagne color.
For Christmas. And sparkles.
Yeah. Do you like shimmers?
I don't usually do makeup, so for me anything is exciting.
Okay. So always blend, and if you're applying more than few colors, well, you have to apply more than 2-3 colors on your eye, because it's gonna make your makeup blend easier. And then you would just brush it off, and we'll just do a little bit at the bottom, because we went too crazy today. Look up. Just a tiny bit. You always need to apply the color on your
lower
lids. Yeah, just because it actually opens the eyes. It doesn't make them smaller, because it creates another little line. Don't do too dark, or you might not even use any pencil. But a little bit of eyeshadows would actually create.
Would you use a liner for the daylight?
It depends if you like it. If you like it, then use it. If you don't like it, don't use it. I personally don't do eyeliner every day. I don't. A lot of people just do it as everyday routine. They love it and they always did, so they would apply it no matter what. They probably would apply foundation, don't do brows, or will do a little bit of brows, and they would just apply a liner because this is the must for them. It depends what's your must. For me, for my personal makeup, I like to apply foundation because I had I've had acne and I had some issues with skin, and I always feel like I need to hide it. So I use foundations, I use concealers sometimes, and I do brows. I do my brows and I do my lashes. That's about it. And lip gloss. I don't do much of a. Not often I do heavy lipstick. Maybe when I go out or something. So now I'm just applying a little bit of that concealer, as I said, because I didn't really apply anything here under eye. So we're just gonna. And I'm gonna use my ring finger because it has the most gentle touch, and it actually would blend, because sometimes you need for product, you need that little warmth of your fingers. Sometimes brush would not blend it as good because the warmth of for product needs to have a little warmth there. Alrighty, so we're basically done. I'm just gonna quickly set up with the powder.
And then show the brushes.
And I'll show the brush. Look up. I'm just gonna do a light because it will crease. It will make a little lines if I would not set it. Okay? But you don't want it to set up too much because it will show the dryness. So it's like you need to have a golden middle for everything. So for this brush I would use for, I just use it for under eye, so which is because it's smaller brush than a bigger face brush. So face brush for bronzer and powder can be that big, can be half small, like it can be with this big, but just for bronzer it's much better and useful to use the bigger brush because you could go like everywhere and blend your look. This one would be for contouring and blush, and because it actually goes really good with the shape, like it's a little bit angled, but there's no right or wrong. You can use that for contouring and blush as well, not a problem. And this brush, this one is MAC actually, it's really good. It's synthetic and you can use it for, it's a little bit more like a spatula, so it's like you can see it's actually flat and it's usually synthetic. It's big for use for creams, so foundations, anything creamy would that be. All right, so we're just gonna do lips and a little bit mascara and we're absolutely done.